Girl here, and hello and welcome to my speed build of Venus Valentine's vampire house in The Sims 4. There's Venus right now, and here we go into the actual build itself. Alright you guys, so I'm going to be starting a new season of Venus's story. So my Venus Mantrap Let's Play is going to be having a season 2, which will be starting up shortly. But in order to preface it, I wanted to make her a new house, and things are going to be pretty different in this second season because vampires exist in The Sims 4 now, and as you might have guessed, Venus is going to become one because she was in The Sims 3 as a sim I played with for my own time, and she was a vampire back then, and her not being a vampire in The Sims 4 was a bit disappointing to me. So now that she can actually be a vampire in The Sims 4 and that everything I've heard about them is really good, I am just stoked. So I got right back into this and decided to do this build for you guys so that I would have a new house for her when we start off Season 2. Alright, so, this house is a more modern one, especially considering that it's in the town that the vampire pack is from, Forgotten Hollow. And I also have the City Living expansion pack too now, by the way. I did not have that in the past. But anyway, I wanted Venus to have a more modern and sophisticated looking house, because that is just how she is. She's not really old-fashioned or anything like some of the vampires around here might be, especially one of them from what I've heard. I haven't actually played with the pack yet, so you guys will get to see my first impressions of it when we actually get to the main Let's Play. But yeah, let's see here. This house has 3 stories and a basement, and those of you who have seen my Venus Mantrap LP will know what the basement's main purpose is for. Oh dear, because in the main Let's Play, Venus was seducing male Sims and then capturing them to feed to her cow plant. She only actually managed to feed one guy to the cow plant so far. And don't worry, the cow plant will be coming back in Season 2, and he's still gonna be eating people, but Venus is going to have a new purpose for that dungeon type thing, if you will, in the basement, and that will be to keep her human slaves or whatever so that she can always have someone fresh to drink once she's a vampire. Because Venus is evil and messed up, for those who aren't aware. Now, I wanted her house to, like, look really inviting and look really modern, like I said. And I feel like I've achieved that, and you guys will note, like, see, I'm putting in a ton of windows, which you wouldn't really expect for a house that's owned by a vampire. But there's going to be curtains over, like, every single window, and all of the big glass doors will also have curtains over them, if I remember. So that will be a thing. Because vampires and sunlight, needless to say, don't get along very well. But I looked on the gallery before deciding to do this build, and there was pretty much no modern houses that were catered towards vampires on the gallery. And I'm like, huh, either I'm not searching the right thing, or these just aren't a thing. So I decided to build my own, and I am extremely pleased with the result. And building the exterior and just the general layout of the house was the easy part by far. I just kind of came up with it on the fly. I came up with all of this on the fly, by the way. And it took me several days to complete this because I'm actually fostering a litter of baby kittens right now who are still nursing. So I don't get very much free time these days, so in what little free time I've been able to snatch, I have been building this in The Sims over the past several days. And as a result of that, I apologize sincerely if anything seems at all choppy or anything like that, but that is why. But yeah, and also that's part of the reason why I skip around a lot in the build, where like before I was like working on the exterior, and then now I'm working on the yard. And then I'll come back to the yard a lot more later after I get this part done. And there are some things that I did to the house off camera, because I had to move Venus into the house in order to do them, like putting the cow plant in the yard, for example, and the rest of her garden plants. So stuff like that you will unfortunately not be seeing in this video, but you'll see it once you watch the LP if you decide to watch the LP. And I hope you do, because I have entirely too much fun playing as Venus in The Sims. My evil seductress is just so entertaining. But anyway, oh yes, and the colors of things and whatnot may change without you guys seeing me actually change it, and that's because this took so very long that some stuff just had to be edited out, and this is already at 5 times speed, like the whole thing is, and there will be a part 2 of this because I couldn't fit the whole build into one video without it being ridiculously long for a speed build. So there will be a second part to this. And yeah, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with that staircase there, but I'll fix it later. And here's where we get to the basement I was talking about. Oh yay. And for this part here, you guys who have seen my Let's Play will recognize this little room probably because it's in Venus's current basement that she was living at in the Let's Play. And I just copied it from the gallery and put it here because I wanted the same room in this house. And I'll do the same with the dungeon area, but I changed up the aesthetic of both of them a little bit, and I also added a couple other rooms because if you guys saw, there was a very blatant way to get down to the basement this time around, where it's very clear that there is a basement because it's right in the living room. Here I am adding the secret bookcase door, but because it's so blatant, there needed to be other rooms that would make sense for her to visit. Like, see, there's a gym that you get with Spa Day, and god, this basement was giving me serious problems here, as you guys will see. It was deciding to be on the bottom level, like, below that, and I was like, no, not what I want. But anyway, here I put in the, Spa Day basement, like, the Spa Day gym, rather, and now the music is having a bit of a shift to a song for a moment called Halls of the Undead, because in a moment we're going to be having the glorious dungeon back, which I made seem a lot darker, more eerie, because of the stuff that came with the vampire pack, which was completely appropriate. And see, here is the renovated dungeon. Yay! And I'm also going to be adding in a sauna room, as you guys saw, which is kind of ironic because Venus's father died in a sauna because her mother murdered him, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, here I'm trying to find the sauna room I put in. But yeah, see, the dungeon looks a lot more, like, dark and vampiric, if you will, to me. So, and here goes the music again because we're about to leave the dungeon. But yeah, I think it looks a lot better, and I'm going to be adding more to it, and there's going to be, like, a legit vampire layer down there that's very simple for the moment, but once Venus actually gets turned, she might make it more elaborate. But anyway, now we are going back into the interior of the build on the main level. And here I'm adding in archways, and you guys will notice how the walls are all red right now and all the floor is black marble. That's not going to stay the same for everything. In fact, a lot of color things are going to change, so I'm probably not going to comment too much on that. But here I decided that the living room is going to be the room where the basement stairs are. So see, I'm putting in a couch there, and like the color of everything here is going to change, like I said, so don't worry about the colors if you don't like them. They're going to change. This room actually ended up being more blue overall and having a lot of blue in it, which I thought looked really nice. And although Venus's favorite colors are absolutely black and red, which is why there was so much of it in the house to begin with, I put that there mostly as a placeholder to remind myself, okay, this is the character, this is Venus's house, but she's designing it to look as inviting and modern and, like, nice as she possibly can, so that she can use it as a way to trick her visitors into not realizing just how dangerous she is, if you will, and how, basically as a way to be more seductive to men that she brings in here, so that they're like, oh, you have a really nice place, rather than, oh my god, it's like coffins and dungeons and whatnot. I just wanted to make it have a more warm aesthetic, if you will. And yeah, this green wall is going to be changing, if I remember, to like some sort of pale orange, which I thought looked pretty nice. I might change it in the LP to something of a different color. I don't know. But yeah, that's the first of many, many tissue boxes to go into this build, because, fun fact, I had entirely too much fun adding, like, clutter and little details to every room of the house, pretty much. And I wanted to make it look as much like a real house, like somewhere that someone could actually live in as possible, because that was the main vibe I was going for, was something, like, inviting, warm, lived in, you know. And as a result of that, there's a ton of clutter items everywhere, and a lot of the clutter items I've put in are tissues. Now, originally, that was just there because tissue boxes are everywhere in most people's houses that I know anyway. And I then realized that there could be a legit story reason for all those tissue boxes. What if Venus, like, takes a snack on one of her guests when she's a vampire and, you know, just, like, needs to wipe away the evidence with, like, you know, tissue? It's handy to have them nearby! Okay, that's probably pretty lame, but I don't care. It amuses me, and, you know, there we go. But I really, really liked that blue city skyline type of painting on the other wall that we saw a little bit ago. That one right there, that dark blue one. Because that one came from the city expansion, and I think it looks really, really nice, especially in this room. It very much fits Venus's whole, like, sophisticated, modern type theme. And here, why did I just look back in the basement for a minute? I don't know. But here, yeah, I save the game pretty frequently because, like I said, I did this over several days, and I really didn't want to lose any data because I had to keep going back and forth between working on it and doing other things, so what can you do, right? Oh, and that stove did not want to go in because the freaking stereo was, like, glitching through the wall a little bit because I'd accidentally put it too close to the wall, rather. That was a bit awkward. Oh, and I really, really, really like the way the kitchen turned out. Because, like, the layout of it is a little awkward, I will admit, because of the fact that no cabinets ever— Hi, Pippin! My hamster just woke up. Because no cabinets ever would be that close to a window that is that long. Like, there wouldn't be a window and a counter literally right next to each other. Like, the window would be above the counter, if you know what I mean. But it's The Sims, so— But, yeah. Other than that, I really like the way it turned out. And I'm going to change the walls in here to be navy blue. And there's going to be a lot of navy blue in this build overall. And see, here I'm adding some, like, little decor items and whatnot, and there, those pots and pans, like, we actually have some of those in real life in my kitchen, and I love putting them in sim builds, but it felt to me like it was a little bit too high up, so that's why I tried the lower ones, but then they were, like, on the floor, and I'm like, oh, never mind, those were fine. And then, for the first time, like, ever, I actually experimented with using the custom cupboards, and they look so good. I love being able to actually see that there's dishes in there. And here I was, like, finding the range that would work well with that over the stove. And, like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be curtains everywhere because she's going to become a vampire. And, the curtains are all subject to change. Like, these curtains, I'm not sure if many of them stayed. Like, the ones that were blue like that, I changed all of their color, at least. Like, most of the curtains in the house end up being black or white. Like, the ones in the kitchen are going to be white. And, like, those ones just did not work. But, I'm going to be changing those blinds stayed there over the counters, but the blinds that I put on the left-hand side there, across from the counter island, those I changed and put in a more full curtain later on. And there we go with the fire alarm there, because I wanted to put in those alarms. And it was so nice being able to just go completely to town with this build, because Venus is absolutely loaded, because her mother was a very wealthy business investor, and her mother is a ghost right now in the Let's Play. And lives with Venus, and she still makes a sizable chunk of change every week from her business investments, even though she's currently not employed. But yeah, as a result of that, I had loads of money to just do whatever the hay I wanted with. And I actually built this before Venus had moved in, so I just ignored the budget completely, and then once I was done, checked to make sure Venus had enough in her account, and she had plenty. She had way more than enough, so we were good. And this, oh my god, this, ugh, these stupid stairs kept glitching out, and like the tile, well not tile, but the marble started looking weird, and then I had to delete that, and then it like spawned new floor somehow for some reason, like 3 times. See, that was ludicrous. That was so annoying. And then as soon as I got it right, I saved it right there because that was the worst. That was the absolute worst. Oh dear. Let's see, what was I putting in here? Oh, here we go. Here is where I start putting in a bar, and I'll put in a big one at first, but then I will replace it with a much smaller one that makes a lot more sense for this house, because Venus actually wants to be able to entertain very easily, and like she'll be able to bring over large amounts of people at once to hang out at her house, and that will be good for her club, Valentine's Vixens, and that will also be good for whenever she wants to throw parties to invite people over and potentially make any of them be new victims in the dungeon. We don't know yet. We don't know. Because I often make these things up as I go. But let's see. Here I was just trying to find a piano because Catherine, Venus's mother, is very musical and she loves to play the piano. And I decided that she should have her piano like front and center, actually available to be like people could actually see her using it, which she hadn't been able to do before because in the Let's Play that I had done so far in Season 1 of this, her piano was actually downstairs, like in the basement, so now it's actually in a proper music room, which will have a bar in it. Because why not? And yeah, I was thinking of putting it out there, and I'm like, no. And then I finally found the right one, the one that's smaller, and I'm like, yay, this is much better. This one is actually the right size. So then I put it in there, so she will be able to serve drinks at parties and whatnot that she has. Oh, and this wallpaper, I really, really like it. I don't exactly remember where I think, oh yeah, it came with the toddlers. Because toddlers are a thing in this game now, thank the Lord. Oh my god. I really, 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 really love toddlers in The Sims, so I was one of the people who was completely livid that they were not in The Sims 4, and I am stoked to say that they did very well with them, so the toddlers in The Sims 4 are amazing. I quite like them. And we might be able to see them in this LP if Venus ends up getting pregnant. You never know, that could happen. But anyway, back to the build here. I was putting up that wallpaper there, and the one that we had before, the blue one with the, like splatter spots or whatever you want to call it on it, that one will reappear later on in the build, but this was better for the music room, I felt. And I wanted to put a lot of paintings and whatnot in here that were Catherine themed because the music room is primarily Catherine's because Venus is musical. Venus does know how to play the violin, and she does have a little piano skill if I recall, even though she hasn't done any of that at all in the LP so far. Gonna have to fix that. But Catherine is the one who's mainly our musical sim, so that is mainly her music room. And I wanted to see if there was a different way I could put the alarm there, but it ended up being best this way. And I love that single rose in a vase. It is so adorable and pretty, and it also helps that I really like roses in real life too. Roses are my favorite flower. So I quite like that building in this free mode here, I had everything unlocked and it was all available. It was so nice. So nice. I didn't even have to enter any cheats to do that either. Granted, there were glitches here and there while I was working on this, but what can you do? It happens, right? It happens. Okay, and yeah. At this point, I moved on to the second level. And let's see, while I'm working on... When I start working on one of the bathrooms in here, I think Venus's bathroom it was, that's when this particular part will end, and then you guys will have to wait for the second part of this build in order to see me finish the rest of the house. But yeah, this is the first of the bathrooms. There will be 3 bathrooms and 3 bedrooms in this house. One of the bedrooms will be a guest bedroom, and the other 2 will be for Venus, of course, and for her mother, Catherine, because for some reason ghosts need to sleep and pee and eat and all that. I don't understand why. It makes literally no sense to me whatsoever, but whatever. Oh, and that bathtub there will be replaced by the time the screenshots come in the second video, because there's no screenshots in this one except for like seeing Venus and seeing her mom at the very, very end. You guys will get to see Venus petting, like Venus's mom petting the cow plant. So that will be fun. But yeah, things are subject to change basically, with little details here and there. Because once Venus actually moved in, I remembered that she had a really, really fancy tub, and since I kept the furniture and then sold all of it afterwards once I was done sorting through everything, her nice bathtub ended up getting put in that one. Oh my god, and there was that freaking glitch where you can use the Shift 9 and Shift 0 to make objects go up and down so that you can place them wherever you like. However, that kept glitching out on me, and you guys will see it like shifting what levels I'm on very frequently and just being a royal pain in the backside. It was just, ugh, it was horrible. Stupid glitches. But yeah, here I figured out that there was that curtain, which I think came from Dine Out possibly. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but yeah, it was so nice. It was so, so nice. And then yeah, I was trying to figure out where to put everything so that it wouldn't be glitching through the curtain, and then I just ended up putting that in, and see there it was like switching what level I was on when I was trying to move the soap up, and I just gave up on that and just shifted around all of the lights, the paintings, and the wall decor, like putting the little hand towels over there and shifting everything over subtly. And then here I'm putting in a bath mat. And then I was gonna put that one in, but I'm like, that definitely does not look like a bath mat. It's just too nice for that. And then I was going to put those red circles on it, but I just decided not to and left the normal bath mat. And then I was saving the game, which even at 5 times speed took a while. And then let's see here. Here I was copying the navy blue walls up here so that it would have a more neutral appearance, if you will. Saving more. And then, yeah, I will be replacing that door and putting in one of the clear ones, which is slightly creepy if you think about it too much, because then it's looking at the bathtub, but from the angle that the bathtub is at least later on, all they'd be able to see would be the Sims' feet, so it's not that creepy. And holy cow, those paintings are so big! I don't know why some of those were so big. I really wanted to use them, but they were just too ludicrously large. And that painting there I just put up, I really, really like the look of it. It is so nice. And here I was just like fleshing out the hallways and everything, trying to make it look as nice and well decorated as possible. And that right there, the rug I moved, like the one that's still red over in the corner, that will be Venus's bedroom. But this here is the guest room. And I really, really like the way the guest room finally turned out in the end. It looks so nice. It has quite a different aesthetic to every other, to all the other rooms in the house, if you will, because it's a lot more colorful. And that is partially to make it seem more inviting and whatnot. And I don't know, I really like it quite a lot. I think it looks amazing. And here, yeah, this is Venus's bathroom. Yeah, I think this is the last room that I'd like fully work on in this video, and then for the rest of the build you guys will have to see the second video. Oh my goodness. So yeah, here I was trying to figure out what the heck color I wanted the walls. That is going to be the office. It's going to look so good. I really like that wallpaper. It looks amazing. Just saying. And yeah, you guys will notice that I changed a lot of the marble to the wooden floor, the dark wood. But I left the marble in the bathrooms and whatnot, and yeah, I think I changed the colors of the counters as well, because yeah, I did. Because there was just too much red going on there and it was starting to hurt my eyes a little bit. But then I put in that giant full-length mirror there that will be quite nice for Venus when she has to use the bathroom so that she can like completely see everything if she wants to dress herself up in there. And I like to put the robe beside the shower. And of course, like towels and soap and all of that kind of stuff. And like I moved the sink over there, and there was also a sink there. I don't remember if I left 2 sinks in there or not. I think I did. But yeah, I made the walls be a nice dark red, and then I changed up the color of the counters. And then I put in that nice little bath mat. And yeah, I put in a mirror over there. And I am going to be ending this video here. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Please be sure to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll be seeing you all in the next part of this, where we will continue the build. And there's Catherine with the cowplant Carl. Bye, guys!